Hey everybody, Everett's live music coming to you here with a little humor. Say for instance in your life, you move along through your days and you find out along the way, perhaps, you weren't totally expected, and then further on down the line, you get called, and you wonder, like, how's it all happened in your life and this stuff that's happening. And the next thing you know, as you get older and you pass through your 30s and then into your 40s and 50s, and you find your mother or your father, for that matter, if you had one still, and they call you an asshole, and then you're like, huh. And you come to find out, actually, you start doing some research on the matter for yourself, and you find out, well, look at, you got a couple brothers. I mean, they were athletic stars, and, they had all the girls and stuff, and you were not really athletically involved at all through your days, and you're like, huh, well, that's a little different. And you didn't have all the girls, but you still had some, and a couple were above the rest. It's still that level of life, and I think that, and as they look at you, they pick on you, and days go past, and you're a little different, and you're wondering to yourself, huh. And the years go by after time, and you find yourself from one relationship to another, and those seem to dissolve around the same people, and you're called again here and there an asshole. Sometimes for reasons you're like, man, I don't know, was that, really, I am? Wow, huh. Well, I discovered that sometimes what happens, I'm thinking, is during birth, this is the best explanation I can come up, because I got to have something at the end of it for myself, because I'm weird like that. I think I need like that reason, that end answer, and I look for that sometimes with my spare time rather than just Googling and Twittering and twatting everything throughout my day. But I have spent a little time on this one, and I came to a conclusion that through labor, my mother, when she gave birth to me, I actually was coming down the birth canal, and you can imagine, here's the doctor, come on, right this, you're coming the right way, and you're like coming down the canal. It's not like a Michael Phelps swimming the butterfly stroke, but you are making your way through this, and then you're like, no, and you start to tunnel a different direction. And I think what happened for me was I did that, because I seem to be a little bit of the oddballish, and I'm not an asshole, I don't think, but maybe I came out of my mother's asshole. And that's how I became an asshole. While they were all expecting me to come out the one chute, here I go, I start digging, like, no, I'm not, and she's pushing and squeezing, and I tunnel through the membranes and through some of the tissue, and lo and behold, there I am. Just a big, I cleaned up one way or the other. I mean, I made my way out. They stitch and sew and put stuff back together, and it's, in a remarkable, unforeseen procedure that's happened before. But when you eventually get older and stuff, and you find out the truth about life once in a while, and how the other two seem to be on the same page most of the time, and you were like the oddball out of three, well, you're the asshole. So I had to investigate, and I think this was my most logical conclusion that I could come to is, some people actually just, they don't come down this, you gotta, it's right there, just, come on, right there. And you're like, nah, and you go through the other way, and out the other door you come, and they're like, what the hell? Where'd he, oh, there he is. What an asshole. And and that way, too, if you become shit for brains. You're like, I know, I didn't totally intend it that way. It must have happened when I came through the canal and I took the detour, you know, and therefore I was, you know, now there's somewhat of an explanation. We can move forward with something. I would say it would be a good thing to discover that some of these possibilities have perhaps happened. I think, you know, it's not what they expected on that day, but they were like, wow, huh. You know, even that day with the doctor, and he's like waiting for you to come down the birth canal and out the vaginal canal, you know, and then, you know, and I see that. No, wait, it's crown. No. I think he's turning back. Or it is turning back. I can't, it would have to be a guy. I mean, girls aren't assholes, guys are. So it's definitely on him. He's turning back. Holy shit. Right. See, and all the terms are legitimate at that moment. He's turning back. Holy shit. And you dig your way through, you know, and you come out the other chute there. Anyway, you know, for some of us, we just got to sometimes come full circle on who we are, who we've become, and why stuff happens sometimes. Not everything's planned. I'm sure you know, maybe it wasn't a big planning that day, but that angle wasn't planned for neither, and therefore, well, I'm a little different, I think. I'm an asshole. And if you are too, why don't you give a shout back to me, and maybe we can, I don't know, catch up on what it's like to be an asshole.